playing around with the 61 to 272 conversion. I've kind of missed out, but you can sort of see. I've lightened the piston a bunch, opened up the windows a wee bit, ground out. You can see a bit better there. Bottom end is all rebuilt, new bearings. I'm using a very thin gasket compared to the OEM, and then this is the 272 highway top end that I'm going to be putting on. So just gonna put it on and get some timing numbers and figure out where I'm going to be. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm almost ready to start decking this. Let's see. I've marked this because I'm going to measure how much I've taken off here, and it's different on this side, so I want to mark that off. It measures at 325 thousandths. I have no clue what I'm doing, so that might be wrong. But anyways, it's at 325. I need to subtract 24. I should end up with 301 here, or at least the way I'm measuring 301. Probably won't be able to take a video while I'm cutting because I don't know what I'm doing. There we are. It's coming. This is where I'm at right now. I'm at 80 on the intake. I was aiming for 78, but I had some plating flake, so I went a little farther. So I'm at 80 on the intake. I'm at 104 on the exhaust. Transfers are at 123, I believe. I did, because I don't have a right angle tool, I did slightly bevel each side of the piston. It's already a pop-up, so I'm not really losing a whole lot of volume, and I already can set my squish really tight, so I'll have tons of compression already. But because the piston was actually blocking off part of the transfer, you can see where I slipped with my sanding bit there, but you can see it's just on the surface. But yeah, it's not the prettiest, but hopefully it works. So I relieved the right side there. Relieve the right side, and then I ground out as much of the bridge on the left side as I could reasonably. Oh, there's shadows in there. You see how thin that is there, the bridge? And then I left the upper transfers completely alone. I can't really touch them with anything I have. So just beveling it. I don't think I have the right tool to bevel, but I'm getting close, I think. This is how I've been cutting the squish. I have another piston. This is off 461. And I cut a disc of sandpaper, super glued it to the top. That seemed to actually hold the best. I tried Super 77, doesn't work. Super glue worked. And then I take another disc and I put it in there, and then I put this on top like this, and then spin it with the drill with a spade bit on it with the glove wrapped around. Maybe not the best idea, but it works. That way, when the sandpaper wears out, after about 60 seconds or so, there's no more grit left. It's all covered up in aluminum guck. I don't have to I don't have to re-glue it. So eventually this wears out too. Sometimes you wear through the paper, but this here gives enough grip that it'll spin the actual paper. And that's how I cut the squish. Cut almost 30 thousandths out that way, as I overshot on my base. Here's the intake. I ended up at 81. Here's a picture of the transfers. I talked about that already earlier. The exhaust is pretty rounded at the top end here. It should be more squared off for better performance, but because my exhaust ended up at 98, 99, which is super high, and my understanding wouldn't have a lot of torque, I left it this really round shape because my understanding was that bleeds off the compression a little bit slower. So hopefully I didn't lose too much torque, and I guess I didn't because I feel like I still have a ton more torque than a stock 61. So somehow got some success there. Not sure if I'll go back and change that later on, but it is what it is. Transfers ended up at 125, exhaust at 98 and 99, squish ended up at 22. Initially was 0. I had to take out quite a bit more out of the combustion chamber to get to 22, and that's running a base gasket and a quick muffler mod I did.